the caster doesn't have to worry about it. Looks really nice, actually.
That's pretty handy.
Yeah. Jova's doing some good stuff here. And big news today, while we have a few minutes to kill. Heroes Brawler, dude. How fun does that look?
Oh my god, I can't wait. I mean, that thing's just going to be insane.
I'm the kind of guy that doesn't go in the PTR. And I will be in the PTR next week, because that looks a lot of fun.
I'm the guy who's always in the PTR and is definitely looking forward to getting in there a week ahead of time.
So now we are officially underway. As the away team, Unstable gets to choose the map. They have chosen Infernal Shrines. And now T.R.U.M.P is on the clock for their first ban. Sylvanas, an excellent first ban. She really enables those Punishers to push hard. We had an interesting game where the fastest we've ever won last week, Mitchell, 5 minutes and 34 seconds with Sylvanas on Infernal Shrines.
I believe it was the first and only Immortal in the entire game.
It was the first and only. We actually won the game before we had our level 10s. Murky is, of course, Zarya, and she's banned out for Unstable. Both Zarya and Malfurion still sitting at about a 60% win rate on hot slogs, so that's a good ban as well. Yes, and we have a new hero announcement coming this Thursday. I just want to know what they're holding back for BlizzCon, Mitchell. With all this cool stuff they're giving us, they have something under their hat they're not showing, man.
Yeah, they already have their game-changing hero kind of teased there.
They did.
But it's going to be really exciting to see what else they come out with. Because it can't just be the one hero that they announce, right? It has to be more than one.
But it's going to be one different one, like the Vikings or Cho'Gall. I'm predicting Zerg Overmind. That's what I want.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
So anyway, back to the game. T.R.U.M.P first select Zool, so good on this map because he can double soak during the shrines, get you a nice, good early game XP. A little bit harder to execute after the mount speed reduction, but still 100% viable.
Malfurion going to be the first pickup for Unstable. Not surprising at all. He's very overpowered right now.
Yep.
And in a in a situation like this, you definitely want to have as many of those heroes on your side as possible. Li Ming being the other pickup here. Surprising to see Li Ming on a battlefield like Infernal Shrines or a battlefield like Tomb of the Spider Queen, just because there's a lot of things to get in her way of those skill shots. But at the same time, she's just a great all-around hero. She is really good about putting out damage. She's really good at spacing as well, keeping people out of those shrines. So maybe they're trying to go for something like that.
And not only that, she has really great synergy with Malfurion. If he gets the increased radius on the roots, that's somebody locking in place for Li Ming. And every time he uses the mana battery on her, her cooldowns are going to be like a machine gun between the resets and the half cooldowns with Innervate on her. Malfurion and Li Ming have really nice synergy right now.
Ooh, Alarak being picked up by T.R.U.M.P right now. I really like that pick. It's not often you see him, but he's starting to come around in these competitive environments.
Yeah, the most recent round of changes they gave him, which was basically a series of small buffs, left him in a really good spot, I think. He's a high skill ceiling hero. It takes a really good player to use him well, but he's really good when he's played well.
Yeah, he's excellent. I just love his kit. I think he is one of the best designed assassins in the entire game. And that's saying something because I love Li Ming as well. Johanna is going to be the second pickup here for the real Ultimate Mosh Pit.
If with Night Takes Pawn baked into Johanna now, if you take Eternal Retaliation at 4 on this map in particular, she can like span her Condemn on the shrines. So between Zool and Johanna, there's going to be a lot of wave clear pressure from T.R.U.M.P to Unstable.
They're really designing their comp so far around trying to get those shrines as fast as possible.
Now we have Unstable on the clock for their second ban. I would imagine they'll try to choke out a healer, I would guess. Maybe Brightwing with the globals, or there it is, Brightwing. My next guess was going to be Ariel, who's really, really good. And I would imagine T.R.U.M.P is going to try to choke out the tank, since they've already selected theirs. You don't see Arthas banned very much, but Arthas is really good on this map. His ultimate Syndragosa does kind of what Sylvanas does, which is accentuates the push from the Punisher. And the Frost presence around him helps clear out those little Shrine Guardians as well.
I'm surprised it's not maybe a Rhaegar ban or something like that, but Brightwing is just a really good healer all around, and she's been very popular as of late. And we're going to see Muradin here being banned out by the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. They already have their tank. They kind of want to choke out Unstable, and they kind of want to see what else that they can come up with on that side.
Yeah, the tank ban doesn't surprise me. There were a number to pick from, but there's still a number of good tanks available for Unstable. Of course, ETC is still sitting out there. Arthas is very good on this map. Artanis more of an off tank, but he's good too on Shrines as well. So a lot of different options available to them. Excellent pick. This is probably Kerrigan's best map, and she's just generally good. So that's a really nice pickup. I like that for Unstable.
Yeah, that Ravage build just goes to work on these shrines here. Kerrigan is a great pickup, and followed up by the Thrall. Okay, a double melee, double frontline here. That's a pretty powerful duo right there.
Yeah, and the reason I like the Thrall is he helps respond to that push pressure that Trump's going to push out. He's one of the better solo laners in the game, can hold a lane on his own. He's got respectable push and self-sustain, so it's good from that regard. But you're going to have a triple front line for Li Ming and Malfurion to hide behind. And you're going to have a triple front line with Roots going out in front of them. So definitely a lot of pressure on Trump, especially with that Kael'thas pick. He's really not very mobile. So both sides going triple melee with the Wizard on the back line.
Not surprised to see the KT pick up here. A little bit more punishing for melee teams than the Li Ming is. They know that, you know, Unstable's going to have to pick up another frontliner in the form of a tank, so why not get the KT to kind of get the living bomb value? You know, the other thing about Thrall that I really like on the side of Unstable too is his sustain is magnificent on those shrines. All of those little creeps that get in the way pretty much assure that he always has Frostwolf resilience targets through, you know, everything that the W will hit, everything that the Q, there's always going to be something there in the way. So I really like the Thrall pickup here as well.
We're definitely going to see a healer here. Ariel, possibly, but no cleanse is a little tough. The Lost Vikings, I imagine that is not accurate.
They definitely ran out of time there. Okay, so the Lost Vikings is going to be Uther.
Okay, there you go. That makes more sense. So Lost Vikings is Uther. And now Unstable on the clock. Thank you for checking the chat, because I would have had to press Alt-Tab a bunch of times.
No problem.
Now Unstable on the clock for their last pick. We're going to see a tank. I would imagine ETC or Arthas.
Tyrael. You know, there's nothing better for your front line than a Tyrael. There's just, he can do so much with a strong front line like they've got on the side of Unstable. If Kerrigan goes a Ravage build, gets the healing and the mana back on her Q every time she goes in, she's going to get constant shields at the same time from the Tyrael, even move speed from Tyrael as well. Thrall, the same. He's got major sustain. He's going to be getting shields. He's going to be getting extra movement speed because he already has some built in. So, you know, I really, really like that Tyrael pickup here.
And no pressure, but we got the boss man in the lobby here. Hey, Jova, how you doing? So this should be a lot of fun. These two undefeated Division 3 teams. We're going to add in Jova's fancy overlay that he just gave us right here, because I haven't done it yet. So let's, oops, that's not what we want to do. Just kidding. Dun, dun, dun. Apologize for the kind of behind the scenes stuff you guys are going to see here as I click away. Oops, that is not what I wanted. Come on now. Sorry, my computer here, not so much with the cooperating right now. Okay, here we go.
You know, the other thing I really like about the Tyrael as well is he's got that retaliation, I believe it's called, on reciprocation at 7, which turns his shield into a little exploding effect after the timer has worn off, which is really, really, really good for the shrines.
Absolutely. And now our overlay is set, so all of Jova's hard work can pay off in cast here. We have 10 players ready to go, and we are going to get this game started. This should be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to this game. one, if not both of these teams, will be in Division 2 next season. So they're both having great years, and both of these teams have been around for a little while too. Division 3 T.R.U.M.P last year was 7-5. Unstable Division 3 last year was 6-5. Also 3-5 in Season 1. So you can see their progression. You know, going from just above a 500 team to just such a strong start here to Season 3. Yeah, it's a little small, Jova, but I think it's okay. Looks okay. Could be better. We'll see if I can adjust the settings on my end to make it look like it's how it's designed to. I think Infernal Shrines is one of my favorite maps to cast on. Just because on there you can do the split soak with the Zool or Kerrigan on there. Which one of these teams do you think Mitchell's going to have the advantage in converting these shrines into Punishers?
You know, the one other thing about this map is that it's a very active map. There's lots of...
there's so many different strategies you can pursue.
Camps. The shrines pop up pretty frequently. There's lots of things happening all over the place all the time. In terms of these two teams, I think that the easier burden of execution is going to be on the side of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Just in terms of all they need is a level lead. All of those characters are designed to gank. They are designed to take advantage of that level lead that Zool can hopefully get them in that first and hopefully second shrine phase. If they can't get that level lead and hold on to that level lead, this game should probably start to slide on the side of Unstable. They've got just a fantastic shrine team. I really do think that they build a little bit better towards 10 or so on the side of Unstable. So we're just going to have to see if the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit can really take that level lead and get one in the first place. Take it and roll with it.
The one advantage I think Unstable has is Kerrigan, because all they need to do is zone out those shrines, and she can single-handedly capture those shrines.
Absolutely. So, between the Malfurion and the Tyrael, that is enough to support Kerrigan to leave her alone. The roots from both Malfurion and Thrall set up the Ling Ming super well for all of her combos. I mean, again, if they get behind on level, that's the only time that they're really going to have a hard time, I think, trying to get these shrines.
Well, in the early Mount Synergy game, Unstable takes the early lead. We have Liquid on Tyrael, Mystic Shroud on Malfurion, Super Dive on Ling Ming, Kurubthian on Thrall, and Shiz on Kerrigan.
And on the side of Real Ultimate Mosh Pit, we're going to have Dankstrom on Johanna, Minra on Uther, Ralph the Dog on Zool, Judge Bread on Kael Thos, and P-Tom on Alarak.
And shout out to Jason for the host. Appreciate it. I always like it when us fellow Chairleague casters stick together, so it is noticed. And we have our little 5-on-5 esports skirmish here in the middle. Zool taking a lot of damage, Kerrigan combo going down with a triple silence. Kerrigan and Tyrael both on the run, Living Bomb spreading, and we have a pause from Liquid. Hopefully nothing too bad. Shiz is apparently lagging hard and down to 52 hit points, so...
Maybe that's why he's down to 52 hit points in the first place.
It certainly is not going to help.
It's always good to see teams repartee with each other.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we're all in here to have a good time. We're casting, to have a good time. They're playing. It's good times. So, looks like we're about ready for the restart here. And here's the countdown, and both teams, I imagine, are going to break away from each other, with Shiz and Liquid in particular being very low on health and going to have to go back. T.R.U.M.P definitely got the edge in that early skirmish.
Yeah, they used that KT-heavy stun to really do some damage on Sable. Okay, 4 members of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit are gonna, 3 members are gonna be rotating with the Zool here, bottom and mid most likely, and Unstable is gonna take the opposite route. They're gonna counter-rotate to clean up the lanes that they leave behind.
Yeah, this is pretty typical for competitive play. You're going to see the solo laners going at it in the top, and that's Johanna versus Thrall, and then the other teams are going into 4-man rotation. The team with the Zool and the Kael'thas will slowly win this rotation.
Usually, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to see a little bit of a difference here. We're going to see 3 members of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit.
Let's go ahead and flash up there. Johanna's a tough character to pick, but this might be enough.
She was really far out there, and
nope.
you know, the Unstable's going to be able to
29 hit points. Johanna is so hard to gank, and that's a big, big deal because those heroes were all out of lane for rotation.
Absolutely. They got rid of that counter soak from Zool that they had. Now, they didn't lose too much XP, but it looks like Leeming is going to get ganked here. If she can get... Nope, she cannot get to the fountain fast enough. Unstable, going to be the first to this shrine. Most likely, Zool's going to be left here as we're going to see the other members of Real Ultimate Mosh Pit rotate up to this shrine. Alarak looks like he's staged to clean up and now he's rotating down.
Yeah, it looks like T.R.U.M.P right now just trying to stall with Johanna because she can do that. Now they are not opting... Oh yeah, there he is. Zool is double soaking. He's bouncing from mid lane to bot. But despite that, right now T.R.U.M.P is controlling the shrine. You have a silence into a double Kerrigan combo, and she goes down anyway.
The stun from the KT, the stun from the Johanna was just enough to keep her there for Alarak to finish her off.
And now, you know, you think Unstable may have to concede this, but the death timers are so low, Kerrigan might get here in time to contribute.
They're just about equal on these creeps here as well, so it's going to be a hard thing for them to do to just let it go. But as you can see, the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit is already establishing their level lead, and it's only going to get higher from here.
Yeah, the Zool is definitely giving them the level lead, and that's why it is so important for Unstable to win this shrine. If they lose it, it's really going to put them at a disadvantage.
Seeing a lot of hope for these two teams here.
Yeah, both teams went in there hard. Actually, you even saw Zool came up at the last minute to try to secure it for T.R.U.M.P, but they weren't able to. But they do have about a 3/4 level lead. Johanna rotates to the top, and you're going to leave 4 members here. Alarak is going to catch the Punisher over the wall, and it's still pursuing him. He'll be okay. They bait the Punisher over the wall. They'll burn it down pretty quickly, and it looks like Unstable may just get a single front wall out of this.
That's going to be enough to get them on the same level as the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. I mean, they knew that they had to give up that first shrine, but I think that they maybe wanted to be a little bit more ahead than they are now.
But you know what? They didn't even get a full wall out of it, and Zool has completely drained the tower ammo in this mid lane and took out the wall in the bot lane. So structurally, that was a win for T.R.U.M.P.
Absolutely. I mean, not only the soak is a big advantage right there, but the advantage there is the walls. The next time that the Punisher comes up, it's going to be able to move past that, and it's going to give Unstable a really awkward place to try to catch one of those.
Tyrio caught out with the Alarak telekinesis and the Uther stun, not quite enough to finish the job, as Tyrion's a pretty squirrely character.
Yeah, he's pretty tough to take down. Not as tough as Johanna, but pretty tough.
Yeah, and Tyrael definitely does it in a different way. He uses shields and teleporting and movement speed, and Johanna just walks.
Okay, first siege camp here being picked up on the side of the Real Ultimate Mosh, but that's going to push mid here. They're still, those 3 members that were in the beginning are still going to try to rotate with this Zool to get good double soak, and possibly even some ganks off of the stuns and the roots. And
Tyrael may be in trouble. Nice telekinesis from T.R.U.M.P. There's the stun and the Bone Prism and another stun from KT. Tyrael will go down. I will say T.R.U.M.P. has had a little bit more attention to their soak, because even though it was pretty level after the Punisher died, you can see they pulled ahead by about a half level with their just a little bit better attention to detail in the soaking department.
Those ganks surely help as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now we have a top Punisher. We have T.R.U.M.P. making their way up there as a 3, trying to get a little level level lead. They know there's no rush to get up there, and they're actually going to have to clear the top mercs when they get up there anyway. So this will allow Unstable to get a little bit of a head start on the Shrine.
We're going to see all 5 members of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit rotate up here. Li Ming is going to be just a little bit late, but so is the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Johanna had the tap. So now we might see an actual full 5-on-5 here for the first time in the game.
You know, with so many melee characters, once Unstable hits 10 with Sanctification, the dynamic of these team fights is going to change completely.
Absolutely. It's going to be tough to get there, though, if they have to concentrate on these shrines. They don't have an extra person to go soak like the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit does.
Yeah, and not only that is, if Alarak can time his silences for when that Sanctification would be appropriate, that could definitely be a factor as well.
Both of these teams here just kind of feeling each other out, really poking each other out, not using too many big cooldowns, just trying to get as many of these creeps as possible. The Shrine's going to start to tilt to the side of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit real fast, and Unstable is just going to say, that's okay, let's go try to get 10 so that we can defend this Punisher that much better and not try to lose too many more people.
I want to highlight Denkstrom on Johanna there. That's what she does so well at this map. She was basically just walking to zone with the Condemn, and her survivability almost single-handedly zoned out Unstable at one point. She's so good at doing that.
Yeah, that was a great awareness by him trying to keep out people so that they could try to get that Shrine as fast as possible.
Hey Kicks, welcome to the stream. I'll be watching you guys later, so good luck in your game tonight. We have ultis out for T.R.U.M.P. We have Phoenix, as already seen on Kael'thas, Poison Nova from Zool, Divine Storm from Uther, Blessed Shield from Johanna, and Deadly Charge from Alarak. There's the Sanctification from Tyrael. KT barely caught in the Kerrigan combo. This is kind of a fighting retreat on the side of T.R.U.M.P. They already lost Uther. Kael'thas will barely get away. Johanna is doing what Johanna does and just walking through the other team, no problem whatsoever.
Those Roots did a really good job of getting that Uther pick off, but as you said, Johanna can pretty much just walk out of anything.
Except for, of course, in our game yesterday. That was too many Roots even for Johanna to walk out of.
Yeah, that was a little harsh.
So both teams kind of settling into the phase between the Shrines. Looks like we may have a little skirmish here mid. Johanna there to clear lanes, and almost all of Unstable is there. Denkstrom is simply backing up. His team just captured the top Bruiser camp.
And we still see Zool trying to rotate these lanes as much as possible, trying to get some soak, trying to get a level lead for the side of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. You know, they are just that little bit half level ahead, but because they're not 1 to 1.5 levels ahead, they are going to have a really hard time keeping up their game plan here unless they can figure something out, like getting more ganks.
Not only do we have the boss here, but we have Halloran here. He just couldn't stay away from Chairleague in his week off. Welcome, Halloran. And yeah, that's a good observation. I think you're right. Uther sacrificed himself to give his team ghost healing in that fighting retreat in the top lane. Excellent pick by T.R.U.M.P. Thrall stuck his head out a little further than was safe and paid the price there.
That's exactly what they want. They want these out of position things that they can punish. They've got a lot of displacement, a lot of stuns, a lot of CC on the side of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit, and they can use that to their advantage to get these level leads instead of having to soak. But of course, we're going to see Johanna trying to soak down here. The bottom lane clear out Mercs. Zool's going to join her to try and get that talent tier lead so that they can take over not only the Shrine, but the fights from here on out in the game.
You know, that death on Thrall could not have been timed worse, but now he is up and they are trying to invade the Shrine here, and I think they're going to be a little bit too late. 36, 39, there's the Shrine, and once again, Unstable is going to have to back off, and it is probably the most difficult Punisher to deal with, and that's the Arcane Punisher.
Both Zool and Thrall, respectively, are going to split off here and try to soak lanes. For the side of Unstable, Thrall is going to try to get probably 13, and Zool is just going to try to keep up that level lead. He's hopefully going to be able to push here in the mid while the Punisher is rotating on the bottom, see what they can do. Now, Tyrael steps out, gets silenced, he's able to get away. That was a great move by Tyrael. Absolutely.
And, you know, if Thrall doesn't respond to that middle lane, they may get Unstable's last level 1 fortification there with Zool by himself.
It's seems likely. No, he's going to rotate around and actually try to help his team get fixed here. T.R.U.M.P is going to be the first in there. He's going to go down.
Nice job of splitting up by T.R.U.M.P, so only one person was caught in the T.R.U.M.P Ghost Bomb. And not too much mileage out of the silence from Malfurion there.
You know, that wall may not seem like much for now, but that is something that T.R.U.M.P is going to be able to take advantage of when these siege camps respawn. Now they're rotating around on the mid, trying to get this last level 1 fortification down as well. Johanna doing a great job of stunning everybody out. Thrall's going to go in there. He's going to get caught by the stun, and by the Alarak.
That was really good team focus fire from T.R.U.M.P. Everybody used their crowd control in perfect timing. There was no overlap. Nobody rushed it. And Thrall, who's not the easiest character to do that to, he's, you know, not a squishy, got blown up pretty quick. And now they're looking for an invade on the Merc camp here. Liquid and Shiz need to get out of here. They're in a terrible spot. Johanna is just a giant body in that corridor, just stood there and would not let them get away.
That was an amazing invade on the side of T.R.U.M.P. They knew that that was probably the last, that was the last camp that was up at the moment. They were probably going to go there knowing that they had to retreat, and hey, let's get in there, 2-level lead, get some advantage, let's kill them, and get an even further level lead. And this is where you're going to start to see the real Ultimate Mosh Pit really pull out far ahead on the side of Unstable. They're going to push out these lanes, try to give Unstable a lot of things to deal with here. And it looks like all 5 members are trying to come up here. The Ruthless on Thrall, he's going to get past the wall, not going to be able to get a pick on him again.
You know, I'm going to highlight Dangstrom one more time because Tanks get no love. He is doing such a great job on the Johanna. And Johanna is just so hard to kill when you're even in level. When you're up 2 to 3 levels like they are here, she is borderline impossible to take down. And Dangstrom is just putting himself in positions to where the other team can't ignore him, to where they have to use abilities and damage on him, and it's just not doing anything.
He is so smart about spacing out for the rest of his team, and at the same time, the real Ultimate Mosh Pit must have the ultimate faith in Dangstrom, his spacing ability, being able to get those ganks and be okay with not having their tank, right in front of them, right there to soak up a lot of damage. So that's really good for them as well. Great team synergy on the side of the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. You know,
I casted and watched T.R.U.M.P play a couple times last season. They have improved so much. Their gameplay has been really, really impressive. Really nice team synergy. They're comboing their crowd control really, really nicely. A very impressive game against a really good team on the other side. And, it's not like Unstable is playing poorly. They're playing well, too. It's just T.R.U.M.P is playing just a little bit better, and they've played just a little bit better the whole game, and it's turned into a 2-level lead and control of the game.
It's the difference between what we talk about all the time. It's the difference between playing an active game and a reactionary game. Either you are the team who is setting up most of the things to be dealt with, or you are the team dealing with everything that needs to be dealt with. And T.R.U.M.P is definitely setting everything up.
Absolutely. They are controlling the map completely. Unstable is the team that's responding to everything that they're doing, and it's a great lead here. They have all of the level 1 fortifications from Unstable down, although just the silver lining for Unstable. They haven't lost a keep yet, so that's really when the game starts to go south, is when you start losing keeps. Good decision by T.R.U.M.P here. They got the Merc camp, and now Unstable is going to have to respond to the Merc camp. They're trying to set up here for an invade. Tyrio goes in there. The Sanctification is a little bit early. That basically got no value, but that was a really good sundering into the Kerrigan combo, and Kerrigan is going to go down anyway, and an excellent mouth silence. Tyrio is going to ghost bomb somebody. That was an absolute bloodbath, but in the end, all 5 members of Unstable just exploded. And that was absolutely a result of the level lead.
I completely agree. It may have been a little bit on the side of the mistimed ultimates there as well. That Sanctification going off early could have done a lot of work there. Both of those teams were clumped up together, so I'm not sure what happened there. The real Ultimate Mosh Pit's going to say, you know what, we need an extra wall for this camp that we got to push onto this keep to keep the Unstable off of the Shrine that much longer so that they can try and secure the Punisher.
Really good decision making and shot calling from T.R.U.M.P there, and I think the absolute key factor, other than the level in that team fight, was that Sanctification got 0 value. If Tyrael would have held it to when both teams were clumped up and fighting each other, it could have been an absolute turning point.
Yeah, that could have been a much different fight and a much different game for Unstable.
Look at, there goes Dankstrom in again, just charging in, full W, keeping his team alive. That was a really nice engagement, re-engagement by Unstable, and they almost got a couple kills for it, but they're not going to win this. T.R.U.M.P only needs 2 more Shrine Guardians to secure this.
And there's still the 3-level lead difference that Unstable's got to deal with. As much as they want to get this Punisher, they're going to have to really think about what their next move is here.
Now that was nice little 2-man synergy there between Tyrael and Kerrigan, but there's just not enough damage. And who's in the middle of that again? It's Johanna. Johanna in the middle of that.
Doing what Johanna does best.
They just can't bring Johanna down.
You know, with the level lead, there's just almost nothing that they can do unless all 5 members give their all for the Johanna. And at that point, what have you got left for the rest of the fight?
Yeah, you know, that's the disadvantage to playing a heavy melee team, is when you fall down in level, it's really, really hard to fight when you're down in level, multiple levels.
Unfortunately, Malfurion's going to try to catch the Punisher here to bring him off of the floor. All 5 members of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit look like they're going to concentrate on this core as much as possible. This should be game right here.
Yeah, I think this is game. Really an absolute clinic put on by the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. A couple of small mistakes by Unstable just let a flawless game get away from them. T.R.U.M.P played and executed really, really well. Let's see if we can get Danks on here for an interview. That was a fun game. I mean, so impressive by T.R.U.M.P.
Yeah, that was really... It was close at first. Once the small level lead started to increase, that game started to slide over to the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit really fast. The Zool, the Johanna, the KT, the Alarak play was really, really great as well. I mean, they have great team synergy on their side. They have great comp synergy as well. And they were able to use that Zool to great effectiveness that the Unstable just wasn't able to turn around at all.
Dankstrom is going to be joining us here in a minute. We're going to give him a taste of his own medicine. The captain of T.R.U.M.P coming off an impressive victory, giving his team to 5-0.
Hello.
Hey, Dankstrom, how are you doing, good sir?
Doing good. Thanks for doing the casting tonight.
Well, we decided we were going to give you a taste of your own medicine and get you on a post-game interview.
Sweet. It'll be my first one. I'm excited.
Yeah, you should be, because they're a lot of fun. I keep stealing the idea from you. It's really great. We're going to have Liquid on afterwards to get their side of it. We were both saying there's a lot of build-up from those of us who follow Chairleague. 2 4-0 undefeated Division III teams at the top. You guys looked so good. Did you get what you wanted out of the draft? How did that go from your end?
And we didn't quite get exactly what we wanted, but we just adapted to what they drafted against. You know, initially we wanted the Malfurion. The bans didn't quite go the way we were expecting, so we went with Zool, which is just incredibly strong on that, and just built kind of around that concept. So I mean, he can split push, he soaks, good on the Shrine itself eventually. So we liked it, and the Kerrigan into the Zool is a good matchup too. So I was happy when they picked the Kerrigan.
Yeah, this is Kerrigan's best map, but you know, both teams went with a triple melee and kind of a mage behind it. And once you guys got a heavy lead like that in levels, it's so hard to engage with a melee heavy team.
Yeah, they have one really good engage, and you talk about the mage behind the Li Ming into that heavy of a front line. I don't think was able to shine as much as she could have, just because of how tanky it was. And the KT punishes that melee heavy front line, so I liked that matchup a lot as well. And that's kind of went with the KT.
I'm going to change gears a little bit here. I think I casted you guys once last season, and I know I watched a couple of your games. You guys have improved so much. You looked so good all this season. Now 5-0. You played just a really impressive game. What is your guys' practice schedule? How do you work as a team to improve your gameplay?
Oh, that's a good question. It's somewhat sporadic. I haven't even finished my Hero League placements yet this season. We play when we can. There's usually one night a week that everybody tries to get together, whether it's team league or it's unranked or an actual scrim. There's a few other teams that, especially during the off season, we scrimmed a lot during the off season, and we try to get maybe one of those in a week. But yeah, we moved some players around. We definitely expanded our hero pools, each of us substantially, which helped a lot. And yeah, it's just been turning out a lot better this season. This is the first game I was actually really nervous about, since it's against the only other undefeated team in Chairleague, and it worked out well. Yeah,
you guys really commanded it. How do you guys handle your shot calling? Do you have one dedicated shot caller, or do you kind of do it as a collective?
Mostly, I'm the primary shot caller, but everybody else is calling out targets, stuns, what something's happening, a rotation, because especially in the early laning phase, one person can't see everything as much as you look at the mini map, so everybody calls out missing heroes, or somebody's ultimate was used, and it works pretty well. So I guess I'm more of the overall like map strategy type stuff, and then everybody kind of calls out different targets or abilities during the hectic team fights. Oh, and my team also wants me to mention that our bottle and a half of wine during scrims definitely helps our practice. So,
Mitchell, that's what we're doing wrong. We're not drinking in our team practice sessions.
Apparently we figured out the secret.
Yeah, play drunk. We've teased a lot that we need to do like a five-man drunk stream some night, just as an entertaining team practice. So we figure we could be entertaining at some point with that.
It's on the docket for sure. Last question for me. Divine Storm from Uther, don't see it as much. Without a dive melee assassin, I assumed you guys just went for additional lockdown. Was that the thought behind that?
Not necessarily a lockdown. We discussed it a little bit, and it was kind of just it was going to be an option at 10, and when I personally heavily favored, because Tyrael, Kerrigan, Thrall are going to dive, and we have a number of stuns and displacements. We would need to stun them out before they drop the Sanctification. We can interrupt Kerrigan's dive, so there's a combo 3 or 4 of us, since we actually went 4 melee heroes on that team. So mostly it was for the counter engage. As soon as they dive in, you pop that, and it disrupts them so much. Then you can stack the KT stun on top of it, the Blessed Shield on top of it. You can keep 3 people locked down for like 5 or 6 seconds that way.
Mitchell, that's it for me. What do you got?
Was that kind of the same mentality you guys had behind the Alarak pick as well? Is that something that T.R.U.M.P was working on? Was that something right in the middle of the draft that you said, oh, they're going mostly melee heavy, and let's get the Alarak in? It's just such a new hero. You don't see him all too much. I love that you guys picked him, but just curious the thought process there.
We actually picked the Alarak before they went melee heavy. They had just picked up the Li Ming and Malfurion. I'm a fan of Alarak personally. He's good gank. You have an option of the Kerrigan or Alarak on that map for a melee assassin. That's really good at the displacement ganks, and I really kind of wanted the silence. T.R.U.M.P is good at him. T.R.U.M.P is good at pretty much everything though. So it's hard. You can't ban him out of anything, it seems like, and he plays very, very well.
Yeah, I agree. I really like his kit. That's going to be it for me, though.
All right, hey, well, Dankstrom, thanks for humoring us and letting us steal your great idea.
No worries. You mind if I stay on for a second and listen to Liquid's interview?
Not at all. We're going to bring him in right now. I'm actually just sending him the Discord link.
Yeah. I'll shut up unless you guys or him have a question for me. So just want to, before you guys cut me loose too much, just shout out to everybody else on my team for their excellent play this season and all the time as well. And then Kaizel, our sub and kind of an analyst. So I think he's watching. So thank you for everybody on the team for everything that all their play. So, and if you guys do care, you can always follow me on Twitter at DinkstromHots for any sort of Chairleague casting or Heroes of the Storm stuff.
I actually followed you today.
Oh, thanks.
There you go.
Appreciate it. So
you actually had Jova and Halloran both in lobby watching you guys. So I think there was definitely a little bit of interest in this game with the 2-4-0 records going into it, so that's fun.
Sweet, cool. Well, thanks for the interview, guys, and I'll shut up here and let you get on with Liquid.
Well, Liquid should be joining us here any
I
moment,
am.
hopefully. There
I'm
he
here.
is. Hey, Liquid, how you doing?
Well, first, since you're still here, congratulations.
Oh, thanks, man.
You guys out-rotated us hard tonight.
Yeah, the wave clear was there a little bit, I think. So I think every single one of our characters, besides Alarak, could do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's an excellent segue into my first question for you, Liquid. There's definitely, we were looking forward to the game, both you guys sporting 4-0 records, top of the division. You look like you're on pace to maybe get promoted in Division 2. Maybe go over your side of the draft. How did the draft go for you? Did you get what you wanted? Did you not get what you wanted? How did that go from your end?
Yes and no. I think we were actually hoping to pick up that Muradin that they banned out as our tank. I think that, and we had something in mind, and then we saw Alarak to ignore it. And I think those are the two things in the draft that probably hurt us. And we ended up picking the the Kerrigan we wanted. The Thrall and the Tyrael were last minute picks, and were not probably the right decision.
Well, I think you guys ended up, we discussed this before you got on, whenever you have a melee heavy team and you fall behind in level, it just gets so hard to engage in team fights. It's very difficult to come back melee heavy when you're down in level. You guys had what looked like about 2/3 of that game on the mid shrine, what looked like a really nice engagement, and you popped that Saint a little too early. Can you kind of take us through that fight? What happened there? Was it a miscommunication, or what happened there?
We were trying to decide if we wanted to engage there, and then our shot caller goes, "Yes, we're engaging." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm going in hard, and I'm up and sank immediately. Let's do this." And my timing was probably 4 seconds ahead of his timing at that point. If I'm guessing, right? It's one of those. We're gonna watch this replay a number of times over the next 2 days and kind of dissect it, because there were a couple of places, even in the beginning, we rushed mid, and we were all bunched up, and KT just chewed us apart right at the very beginning too. So, yeah, there's a couple of things we want to look at.
Because the way that team fight went down, and it was probably the pivotal point in the game, if you would have had that Saint right as you guys clumped up, like 3 seconds later, it could have been so big. And we were discussing during the game, we're like, that had to have been a miscommunication there from you guys.
It was. I thought he was going one way, and we ended up. I think it may have been, in the heat of the moment, I figured it was 4 seconds, and I even commented on that. Man, if I had held that 4 more seconds, we had this. But yeah, it's probably easiest to describe that as a lack of communication, or a miscommunication is the best way to say it, because we were clearly talking, just not the same language.
So now, as you guys are, behind, the second half of the game, what are you guys discussing to try to get back in the game? Because that's a really tough thing to do, is play from behind that way. So
I'm gonna go to the point where it was 14 versus 16, because I think that probably encompasses that question the best. And the debate that was going on was, we're 2 levels down and we're a talent behind. If we soak, they get the Punisher, and they're gonna come straight in with that Punisher, and we're still gonna be at least a level down and a talent tier down. So we can't give up a Punisher. We're gonna have to take an engagement, even though all of us didn't want to take that engagement. Not taking it really didn't seem like a better option at the time. We ended up pushing in, and we soaked probably 2 groups of minions, middle and top, I think, and then we went in for another engagement, and it did not turn out so well.
Well, I think that's it from me, Mitchell. Any follow-up questions for Liquid here?
Can you walk me through the idea behind the Lee Meek pick? Is that something that Super Dave just kind of wanted? Is he super comfortable on, or is that something that you guys wanted in your draft necessarily?
So 2 reasons. One, he's super comfortable on Li Ming. Although I think tonight he would say he did not play his best game, but he's absolutely super comfortable on Li Ming. And 2, I think if I remember correctly, Dankstrom and his boys picked Li Ming at least once, if not more than once. So we figured 2 birds, 1 stone. We could deny it from the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit, and we could give Dave a character that he's super comfortable on.
Yeah, that's usually how that goes.
Yeah, I think that in the end, with how melee heavy and how beefy that front line was, that's really hard for Li Ming to get her resets against such a beefy team. It ended up being a not ideal pick. I mean, at the time, you certainly don't know that, but in retrospect, yeah.
No, absolutely. At the time, we were looking at just Azul, and it's like, okay, well, let's go Malf Li Ming. That doesn't show a lot about what we're doing. We still don't know a lot about what they're playing. And we just, it was a comfort pick for a mage that he's comfortable on, so we went with that.
All right, guys. Well, I really appreciate both of you joining us. We have about 10 minutes till our next game. Feel free to hang out if you would like to. And great game, both of you guys. I anticipate seeing both of you guys in the playoffs for Division 3 if he does playoffs again. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys around the Nexus.
All right, thanks for casting, and good game, thanks.
Yeah, good game, Liquid, and thanks for casting us the prior week as well. And thanks to Mongoose for doing it this week. Appreciate